Kiran Sidhu joins me now. He's the CEO of Halo Labs. Kiran, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Great to see you in London. Big excitement going on with this Cannabis Europa event. Tell me about how Halo Labs is approaching the new market in the United Kingdom.
In terms of the United Kingdom, in Europe, our strategy is a little different from others. And, being an oil and concentrate producer and having a very large bulk business, in particular in California, we believe that the way that we're going to come address Europe is actually through Lesotho in Africa.
Okay, so Lesotho is the kingdom surrounded by South Africa, and you've made a partnership with them.
Correct. So we've done a little bit more than that, where the largest license in Lesotho is held by buffalo Biosciences. And what we've done is we've entered into a letter of intent to acquire 100% of buffalo. So we are fully committed to the African strategy. So we will have, over the next year, 5 hectares of cultivation, and we'll have 100,000, hopefully 100,000 square foot extraction facility in order to provide bulk biomass and bulk distillate to the European manufacturers.
And so how much production do you anticipate from 5 hectares?
Oh, it will be, but keep in mind that, and again, what happened in the United States and what I think will happen in Canada will also happen in Europe, where now in the United States, over 60 to 65% of all cannabis consumed, be it in an edible form or a topical form, is consumed in an oil and concentrate. So the biomass ratio is somewhere between 12 to 1. So on 5 hectares, we'll probably be producing around, in tonnage, probably about 10 tons a year. But that would only entail making less than a ton of oil.
Right. So is that a footprint that you envision expanding?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And as we announced in Oregon, where we're putting up now a CBD facility, we'll be putting up also CBD production, we'll be putting up specific hemp production, because our license allows us to go up to 200 hectares.
Wow, that's great.
And we as a company sort of literally scoured the earth on Google Maps and tried to come up with where is it an ideal place where you have favorable regulatory environment and favorable labor, favorable sun and soil. And Lesotho to us is ideal, and the company we're in is excellent. Afria is there, Supreme is there, Canopy is there. So as far as publicly traded Canadian companies, we're the 4th, but we find ourselves in excellent company.
Sure. Do the laws in the United Kingdom and separately Europe permit the importation of CBD and THC in concentrated extracted format?
That's a little bit more of a complicated question. So for those countries like Germany, like Denmark, like Holland right now, Bedrocan also is putting a very large facility in Lesotho. Those countries allow it, provided that the raw biomass is grown under good agricultural practices by their definition, and the oil is made under European good manufacturing practice. And the understanding that we have is that the highest standard are the European standards. So with those standards, when Canada permits imports, Australia we know is permitting imports, you can actually go into those markets as well.
Okay, fantastic. So then what about, will you use Lesotho feedstock to supply any of your U.S. operations?
We can't do that because the U.S. is ring-fenced.
Right.
Every state within the U.S. is ring-fenced.
Right.
But inevitably, as we saw just recently, the House of Representatives has passed a bill last night, and things may be turning in the U.S. But again, that's what's so beautiful about Lesotho, because we can produce high quality at a low cost that, be it the Chinese, be it the Indians, be it whoever else comes in, we'll be able to compete with them toe to toe.
Interesting. Do you think that there will be resistance to using imported CBD and THC feedstock to governments that are seeking to capture the economic opportunity?
Again, very well poised, because Lesotho is a poor country, and so they have treaties under OECD and under UN auspices that permit them tariff exemptions. So for instance, in the US, textiles that are imported from Lesotho are exempt from tariffs that we keep hearing about in the US. So that was another reason that Lesotho was very favorable to us, because if tariffs do come down, they will be harder to implement against a country like Lesotho that by nature has the OECD protection.
Sure. At what point in the timeline do you envision generating revenue from your operations in Lesotho?
We are hoping as early as Q2 of next year. Remember, we're in the southern hemisphere, so the cycle is different.
Right.
So the prime summer cycle, we're using greenhouses. The prime summer cycle starts in November, so we're hoping to put our first crop in the ground in November. And in terms of what we call offtake or demand, at this conference, I mean, there's so many people who are in desperate need of biomass to make medicinal oil in Europe that there's no lack of demand. It's an execution, not opportunity. And what we've proven in Oregon, what we've proven in Nevada, and what we've definitely proven in California is that we can execute quickly. And Lesotho to us is no different. We've had a team on the ground for 6 months now, and we're highly confident that we'll have our first crop out by Q2 of next year.
Okay, so then in terms of what's happening right now in the United Kingdom, in this earliest stage of cannabis, medical cannabis legalization,
Right.
Do you see the medical market moving forward fast enough that it's going to be able to uptake all of your biomass that you can produce?
Well, not the United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom is lagging. But as I emphasized before, Germany, Holland, Italy, France, Malta, these are jurisdictions where now it's becoming more prevalent. Now Greece is coming on strong. So the prediction is that by 2023, and I think it was Prohibition Partners report, that European demand will exceed North American demand. And the other thing that people don't understand is Africa, it has significant demand. So New Frontier Data published reports last week on the African demand. And a lot of people, with the exception of Aurora, have forgotten the fact that South Africa has 60 million people. They have a culture that's predisposed to cannabis, and they just decriminalized cannabis. And when I was in Johannesburg recently and Cape Town, consumption cafes are popping up in the collective model of California in the early days.
Wow.
Right.
So that's a huge
It's a huge opportunity, and Lesotho's part of that common trade zone.
Interesting. So how's this affecting your outlook on your revenue going out the next 12, 24 months?
I would say that this year we still hold firm to our 48 million number with positive EBITDA, hopefully by the fourth quarter. I always get asked by investors, how are you doing? Because our growth is at 300% quarter over quarter, year over year. And, they keep asking to me, are we going to sustain it? I'm not going to comment on the quarters. All I'm going to say is that going into Q3 at the end of June, our numbers are right where we expect them to be internally.
Okay, great. Let's leave it there, Kiran. We'll come back to you soon. Thanks for joining me again.
Thanks for having me again.